Hey folks, thanks for watching. If you haven't yet subscribed, click the little red button, and if you'd like to be notified of my posts, click the bell. It'll send you a notification. Okay, I'm following a story that's kind of really close to home here. About 45 minutes away from me is the city that I grew up in, and there was a woman that was abducted from Ontario, which is not too far of a province from me, and she was brought here to partake in the sex trade industry. Now, she met this man in Ontario, and he sort of convinced her or forced her to take the train back and come to Winnipeg. And she was forced in a home to sleep with approximately 50 men, 3 to 10 people on sort of a regular basis. Andres Michael Pavao. He's 29 years old, and he's been charged in this offense. Brutal, absolutely brutal. The woman was beaten and held captive in a freezer until she literally suffocated and sort of just, lost oxygen and passed out. What's scary about this situation, and that the authorities are finding more and more of, is that these women are getting involved in relationships where they start to live with somebody and they build a relationship with this person, and then it's turning ugly. Then it's turning into violence and beatings and being forced to do things. So if any of my viewers know anybody out there in this kind of a situation, I would encourage you to try to get them some help, or ask them to, help themselves by getting out. There's a lot of places out in the world that will help these type of women. Currently in Ontario, there's a wefight.ca. That's a great organization that helps women in these types of situations. There's also Joy Smith Foundation. That was really a nice thing that they focus on. They're a nonprofit organization focusing on combating human sex trafficking. So this is a huge issue. We don't yet have anything set up for a hotline in Manitoba, but I suspect that this case is going to bring that on. I believe that we do need something like this. I think that the sex trade industry is just exploding, and it's literally taking over everyone from, suburban residences all the way to, reservations and places in the middle of nowhere. So, nobody is really safe in this type of situation. And they're sort of asking people to just be aware of your surroundings, know your neighbors a little bit, see who's coming and going, know about the traffic and stuff like that. If you do see something, please say something, make that call to the authorities so that they can check on the situation. If something horrible is happening there, I would want somebody to call to help for me if it was me in that situation. So let's try to be the voice out there for the people who've had theirs taken away. The woman knew this man for 8 months before the chaos started happening, going from forcing her to doing things, forcing her to move, things like that. So there isn't a set amount of time. In fact, it seems like the bad guys are actually focused on, creating for that lovely environment for somebody, and then they're going to pounce and do the wrong thing. And that's not okay, folks. Let's try to help the women who are out there in these kinds of situations. Now, he made her pose for photos, and he posted these photos onto websites that he was able to advertise her for sale. Now, there's a lot of work being put into shutting down these websites. There was a website in the US called Backpage.com that was also recently shut down for the exact same thing. So I'm hoping that we're going to find these sites and we are going to shut these things down here in Manitoba. I had originally heard about this case in August, and I wasn't quite sure what was going to happen with it yet. So I've now decided to do this story just to help spread awareness on the situation, because this is happening so close to home. It's clearly happening all over the place. So let's help each other out and stay safe out there. If you enjoyed my video update, a thumbs up would be a great support. And if you have any thoughts or comments, maybe you know somebody who went through this kind of a situation, or you just want to share a story, please put that in the comment sections, because we do love to hear from you. So thanks for watching, folks. Stay safe out there. Bye for now.
We begin tonight with a disturbing story about a Windsor woman who was allegedly held captive, tortured, and forced to work as an escort. This did not happen locally, but in Winnipeg, where police have arrested a suspect who has ties to the community. Joining us with our top story is Chris Campbell.
Yes, Jim, police in Winnipeg have laid charges against a 29-year-old man with connections to Windsor. They allege this man took a young woman from here to Manitoba, tortured her, and forced her into the sex trade. It was only in August she was able to break free and get help. Police described this case as a terrifying experience. A young woman held captive, beat up and abused, sometimes electrocuted, tormented not just physically but also psychologically. She was allegedly dragged from Windsor to Winnipeg and just last month was able to break free.
It's terrifying to think that this is happening, more so that it's happening in your backyard.
Winnipeg Constable Tammy Skravic tells CTV News it sounds like the script of a horror movie.
She was tied up, she was chained up, she was forced to stay in a freezer for long periods of time until she lost consciousness.
But the woman was able to escape and ran to the police station for help. The suspect, 29-year-old Andres Michael Pavao, now faces a dozen charges, including trafficking, assault, forcible confinement, overcome resistance by attempting to choke or suffocate, and assault with a weapon.
Neighborhoods and residences need to become more familiar with who lives in their area, who's coming and going, and be more proactive in reporting that to police.
It is happening within our community at an alarming rate.
Anti-Human Trafficking Project Coordinator Amanda Pierce at We Fight says it's disgusting to think of how prevalent human trafficking is. We Fight provides direct services to survivors of domestic and international human trafficking, where women are forced into sex trafficking, even marriage.
Right now, between three of us, we have between 70 and 80 open cases right now, and I would argue that that's just touching the tip of the iceberg.
And I can say 100% of my caseload is domestic sex trafficking victims or survivors.
Jillian Golden is a youth and transition worker with We Fight and says it's a bigger issue that many people just don't know about. Golden tells CTV News there are 4 to 6 new people in Windsor seeking help each month.
When you come from nothing and you know nothing and you know no one, that fear just takes over your life. So you'll do whatever you have to do just to get through the day or through the week or through the weekend.
But this is a reminder to people that, there are safe ways to do that. There's ways to contact the police to say, I'm concerned about my neighbor, I'm concerned about what's going on. Seeing cars coming and going from a residence. That's enough to say, maybe you should phone the police and just advise them.
Police in Winnipeg tell me they anticipate further communication with Windsor Police as part of a lengthy investigation. And while it's alarming to hear 4 to 6 people seek help each month, the staff at We Fight say they will continue to educate the public so everyone knows the signs of abuse and report any concerns.
I'm wondering, since we are a border city, whether perhaps it's more prevalent here.
We've reported that it goes up the 401 corridor to Toronto. So
Indeed, it has a role. Okay, Chris Campbell tonight. Thank you, Chris.